Thanks for joining today's episode of Small Talks for Big Change, where we help simplify financial topics to help with your financial wellness. My name is Michelle Enriquez, your host here at Patelco Credit Union, and greetings to our listeners out there, and thanks for tuning in. We wanted to get you an episode to bring awareness to Patelco's webinars, and one of our latest was a really great one if you missed it. Did you know that we offer 2 educational webinars per month? We have a team that are really thoughtful about designing topics and curriculum that are top of mind and relevant for our members. And if you missed the recent Patelco Membership Perks webinar, first of all, you can watch the recording on our YouTube channel. But we thought we'd bring it to the podcast studio because it was so good and informative. One of Patelco's financial wellness partners, Peggy Wyman, hosted the webinar, and I'm super excited to have her back on the show and share her expertise with you. Peggy, welcome back to the studio. Congrats on the latest webinar.
Thank you so much. It was fun giving it, and I hope everyone enjoyed it.
So, Peggy, you were here last to talk about our Patelco at Work program. Tell us a little bit about that and what you do here at Patelco.
What do I do here? Patelco at Work is a financial wellness offering for companies so we can assist your employees who are experiencing financial stress, which in this day and age with inflation is rather huge. So we can go in and we can do lunch and learns, we can table, give financial education, and best of all, and most exciting, is we get to coach one-on-one those that need it.
Yeah, and you love giving presentations and doing webinars, right? And one of the reasons we asked you to come and deliver the webinar for our members, you give classes on all types of topics, right?
Everything. We can do debt reduction, budgeting, savings, reducing debt. For those of you that have gotten into a little bit of a pickle with debt, we can help with that as well.
Yeah, and the thing I love about your webinars and presentations is you bring your experience to the education. So tell us a little bit about your background. Whenever I'm out with you, I always hear you say that you've pretty much done it all in banking. Tell us a little bit more.
That is true. I have been in banking for about 40 years. I always hate to admit that because it's a long time.
We started when you were young, right?
Very young. I did start as a teller, and I worked my way up the ladder, and I ultimately managed branches for many, many years. And part of that is business development. So when you're managing a branch, you have goals to bring in new business, new deposits, and new businesses. So I spent many years doing that as well, which I did enjoy because I'm not necessarily a sit-at-the-desk office person. So it was really nice to always be out networking, chamber events, county events. So that's my history.
Yeah, but even your experience as a teller up to manager level and then working outside with outside partners, I mean, all of that experience probably has helped in being able to both help our members, but also help our external partners understand what we offer.
Totally. And I do have a passion for service. I've always worked in the service industry, and I think it's the most important thing. As a customer anywhere, I really appreciate great service. And I do believe people have choices. So we need to, go an extra mile and take care of people, which does get reflected in the education that we give. I mean, we're offering, an olive branch to help you when you're struggling.
Yeah, and I know I love having you out with me because it's all those questions about, well, what are my check holds and what are the fees for this and how do I navigate that? So you're an amazing resource to have out there. Plus, you're a great presenter. So again, super excited to have you here. Let's talk more about the webinar that you delivered. And some of the specific things that you covered in the webinar. I think we see a lot of times that we talk with our partner employees and our members, and they typically have no idea that there are so many membership benefits, and you come from the banking world, right? What you see is what you get. A little bit different at the credit union, right? We could be here all day if we were to cover all the benefits that we offer, but let's talk about some of the ones that stood out from your webinar, and then maybe you can come back and we do a part 2, maybe even a part 3 to cover everything.
I'm happy to do that.
So we'll cover some auto loan perks today and some of the retirement and planning benefits that we have. Why don't we start with some of the car buying benefits? And I think a lot of folks and listeners out there might not be thinking about car buying just because they're deterred from the rates. Right now, the last 10 years, we've really enjoyed low to 0% interest rates. So I think these membership perks that we have now are really relevant. Let's talk about the enterprise car sales. Tell us a little bit more about that.
The auto buying world has changed so much with the internet. In the day, you walked into the lot, You always brought your children because you wanted the people to hurry up. And when your kids started getting ornery, it sped up the process. But they seem to have all the control. But now when you walk onto a lot, you have all the knowledge from online. And if you go to our website, Enterprise Car Rentals, we partner with them. And they sell their cars that have been previously rented. They've been certified. They have road assistance offering of a year. And you can search for any car you want. So when you go onto the site, I did it today just to play around, and I put in my car, which is a Mazda. I put in Mazda CX-5. It brought up about 4 options. I could see the miles, the year, the color, and the Blue Book and the Carfax. So we really want to know the history of the car these days, and the fact that it is accessible is awesome because, again, back in the day, we didn't really know what we were buying when we were purchasing a car that had been previously used.
Yeah, and you may want to check it out before just going to the lot. I am definitely not the person that should be at a lot. I will leave with something and probably not make good decisions, so that kind of mechanism is good for me too.
Well, the most important thing I forgot to say is since we partner with Enterprise, if you do purchase a car with them, you get 1% off your auto rate. And as Michelle mentioned, rates are a little bit higher now than what we were used to the past years. So 1% off, that's a huge discount.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, right? And I always wondered what happens to those Enterprise cars, so that's good to know. Do you find or did you notice that the prices are lower because they've been previously owned?
I think it's such a competitive market right now, but because we have the knowledge from the internet, we kind of can look ahead and know what the car is worth. And what I did like is it actually said lowest price. So they've already gone in there and given you the lowest price. There's no negotiating, which a lot of people don't like. I mean, I'm not great at negotiating in that aspect for a car. So it's the lowest price. You have the Blue Book. Most of them were slightly under Blue Book. So you know that you're getting a good deal and no haggling, which is really nice.
Okay, so the site's easy to navigate?
Yes.
Cool. Then you get lots of options as well?
Mm-hmm. And you can look for specific cars or just browse every car they have. They had a category that said cars that have over 28 miles per gallon, which, a lot of people are looking for the, higher efficiency cars. So you can look by category.
Really cool. And the 1% discount applies if you get the loan from Patelco?
Yes.
Okay. And that process is really easy. It's one of the simplest things that we do here. Okay. Really cool. 1% discounts, it is a big deal. Especially now. Not on our outline, but can we talk about Level Up also? So in addition to 1% discount with a loan from Patelco, let's say you don't qualify for the very best rate. Mm-hmm. We put all of our members who don't qualify for the very best rate into a program called Level Up. Can you share a little bit about that? Because I love it. I feel like that's the biggest kept secret.
I sure can. And it's kind of a double plus because if you get your loan and you weren't at the highest credit tier, your rate might not be the best rate. It won't be bad, but it won't be as high as a tier 0 if you have like 800 credit. So after 12 months of on-time payments, we're going to lower your rate 0.5%. All you have to do is make your payments on time. Just don't be late. And we will do that for 3 years. So 12 months of on-time payments minus 0.5, another 12 months minus 0.5, another 12 months minus 0.5. So ultimately you'll have 1.5% off your rate. And the beauty of it is it encourages you also to pay on time if that happens to be something you struggle with. So your credit score is going to be going up as well.
Yeah. When we talk about, looking out for our members' financial wellness, when I first got to Patelco, I was like, okay, that can't be real. What's in it for us? And this truly is one of those things that rewards our members, helps them keep their credit score in a great position, and then, helps them with the lower payment also. So we got the 1% from Enterprise. We've got this awesome Level Up program. You can find more information about Level Up on our website. 2 really great ways to, save a little on the auto payment. Okay, so thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
What's this note here about AutoSmart? What's all that about?
It's another auto buying option that is on our website under membership benefits. And Smart is an auto search vehicle. So you go online and you click onto AutoSmart. It will take you to their site. It's got a really good rate because we partner with them. But again, you can search for a car and they search all over the nation. So you can get the exact car you want. And again, you're going to get all the information on the car. You'll get the Carfax. You can just do a great search and find the car that you want. And if you don't know what you want, you can just scroll through and find what you think might fit your lifestyle.
So 2 cool options for folks like the both of us who don't want to deal with the dealerships. and shop at our luxury, but tons of options then if you're talking about across the country.
Well, and especially if you're many people these days love to shop online. So this is the way to shop online. You don't have to go to every dealer. You don't have to be Googling 100 places. Super simple way to buy a car.
Okay, great. And then we're entering car buying season. So 2 great options to not only save money on the rate and the payment, but a great way and different kind of modality to shop too, depending on your preference.
Correct.
All right, good stuff.
Real quick, if you do want to go out and do the auto buying experience, just based on, from my coaching point of view, always get pre-approved.
Yep.
You don't want to walk on a lot and not already have your loan in place. And you certainly don't want to tell them what you're approved for, right? So you want to go in, you already know you have your financing. You can drive off the lot that day with your car, and then Patelco will send them the money when you have your pre-approval letter. Super simple.
That's a great tip. We talk a lot during our classes that we give about empowerment, and knowing what your buying power is before you go shop is everything, right? You know your budget, you know your capacity, and then you can't, be swindled.
Correct.
It's all about financial empowerment. Name of the game for our conversation today. Okay, we're switching gears from auto. Let's talk about investments and planning for retirement. We just did an episode with Veronica Dangerfield this week. We were talking about planning for retirement, and we've got 2 really cool retirement and estate planning perks for members. Can you share a little bit about our Robo-Advisor program?
I certainly can. I think Robo-Advisor is fantastic. It's a great offering that you find on our website. And the beauty of it is nobody's comfortable with investing, right? It's not my favorite topic, even though I've been in the financial world for 40 years, because you worry about fees, you worry about risk and loss. So what Robo-Advisor does when you go in there is it's going to ask you a questionnaire, and it's probably going to ask your age, what your risk tolerance is. I mean, if you're afraid of losing money, then they're going to choose more conservative funds for you. If you like risk and you're younger, it's going to determine all that. It's going to take everything you answer in the questionnaire, and it's going to determine the best investments for you.
Okay, so this is another kind of self-serve, go to the website. I don't have time to sit down with a complimentary session with one of our licensed financial advisors. I just want to do this from the comfort of my home, see what's available. I might want to talk to somebody after, but this is something you can go in, and you can even take advantage of right from the site.
Definitely. And the beauty of it is if you have questions and you don't have time to meet with one of our advisors, you can have questions answered on this site. There's a chat, there's a phone number to call for support. So it's not like you're on your own. One of the things that caught my eye on it was the 401k rollovers. I mean, how many times do people change jobs and you're leaving a 401k at each previous employer? You can roll those over via this tool as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's really great time saver. And again, not everybody's comfortable or even knows where to go to find a licensed financial advisor. We do have several financial advisors here at Patelco, but this is, again, just another way to get people to think about it in a comfort level of their own.
At least dabble. I mean, it gets started. I think you need a minimum of $5,000 and just get started. And again, you control the risk. So by the answer of the questionnaire, they're going to determine the funds that are the best for you and your risk tolerance.
Okay, great. So that's, if I'm maybe changing jobs, I maybe haven't even got started talking to any kind of professional, I can go to this website, fill out a questionnaire, and get started that way.
Yep.
Okay, so that's Robo-Advisor. The last 2 years, would you say, how many requests have we gotten out in the field for estate planning education?
A lot. That's all. I'm speechless.
Probably the top topic that we're
It really
asked
is.
about.
And it's super important. It's really near and dear to my heart. I've experienced a few instances recently where there was no will or trust. And I just always tell people, do your heirs a favor. If you want to be able to dictate where your assets go, this is how you do it. You need to tell people what your wishes are.
Yeah. I think like car buying, like getting started, connecting with a financial advisor, it could be one of those things that might be on the top of your list, but you have nowhere to go, or you don't know where to go, who to turn to. Talk to us about this new trust and will service that we have for members.
I wanted to mention there is an aversion to this topic, right? People don't want to think about when they're going to die, but the fact is anything can happen any given day, right? So we have a awesome product. I think they call it the TurboTax of wills and trusts. So you can go online and you can do it yourself. And there is a discount for our members of 25%.
Nice.
And again, there's questionnaires and you just go through the process. One of my coworkers did it. She loved it. Technically, I mean, she's a homeowner, so it's not like it's a basic trust. There is assets in the trust. But even if there isn't, you list everything as you go, and it's going to be, adding up the, whole picture as you answer the questions. And again, the beauty of it is it's created by estate attorneys who know this industry. They know what's needed. And there's also, again, support through the website. When you go through the website, there is estate attorneys that you can talk with.
Yeah, and this coworker of ours that you're talking about, she's pretty particular, right?
Oh,
and
yes.
She really raved about the experience, the ease of use. She had a semi-complicated situation. She has several different assets, and she thought this was a fully encompassing support for what she needed.
Yep, the questions are really created to answer all the questions or all the issues that might come up for you and deal with every aspect of your assets and your estate.
Yeah, let's talk about what the alternative is if you don't use kind of a self-serve service like this. You'd be looking for an attorney.
Yep.
I know I had thought about this about 5 years ago. I don't even know what kind of attorney I should be looking for when it comes to estate planning. So there's that. This service I'm going to do. It's on the top of my list. I'm finally going to do it after this episode. But kind of just another way to get resources to our members, self-serve type of option. If you don't know who to talk to, you don't know where to go to look for it.
Well, and even for a will, if you don't have time to do a trust or you think it's overwhelming, you can go online and do the will, which is a little more basic, but you're still telling your heirs what your desires are, which is super important because don't leave them behind to try to figure out what you wanted to do with everything. Also eliminates disagreements that happen sometimes with those left behind, that they might, think they're entitled to something and the other person thinks so too. Just there's been many, many instances of arguments and dissension that you really want to avoid.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it and heard it.
Yep.
Right? And if it's not on paper, we're talking about the state of California or your state taking control and making those decisions for you, which you probably don't prefer.
And taxes that your heirs might have to pay that you could avoid as well.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so we talked about some auto buying and auto shopping resources. We've got some retirement and planning benefits that we have. There's so many more. We could be here all day, Peg, but we're going to stop there. We'll do a part 2, and we'll talk about some checking perks that we have and a bunch of other things. Before you hear that next podcast, you can find all this information on a brand new webpage on our website. It's patelco.org/member benefits. You can also see Peggy's Membership Perks webinar on our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, it's chock full of great information. It's got the podcast also. So definitely go check out Peggy there and some of her other webinars that she's delivered. Peg, thanks for gracing us in the studio today. We'll come back for a part 2, and it's always good to see you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, everyone, that concludes today's episode of Small Talks for Big Change, where we help simplify financial topics to help with your financial wellness. Good luck planning. We'll see you next time. Patelco Credit Union is insured by NCUA. Hey guys, thanks for watching. To subscribe, click here. To watch the next video, click here. See you next time.